All right, guys, welcome to the 2024 Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl pregame press conference. Starting off for us today is the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. It is their 6th appearance in the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl, 3-1-1 record, first appearance since 2019, recorded the first shutout in Independence Bowl history in that game. We have head coach Sonny Cumbie, quarterback Evan Bullock, and linebacker Zach Zymos. Coach, we'll start with a statement from you and then open up for questions. We'll have mics going around the room, so if you have a question, just raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you.
Well, I think on behalf of Louisiana Tech, our university, and really all of our alumni and our administration, we're really excited to be here at the Radiance Technologies Independence Bowl. This is a bowl that's been going for 48 years, and it's a rich history from the standpoint of the teams that have played in this game and also the players that have stayed on this stage and played in Independence Stadium. Our team is extremely excited. I'm very grateful to Bill Bailey, to John Ellis. Claire, you've done a great job with the hospitality here in Shreveport. Laura Turner, who's been our team host. It's just been a phenomenal experience for our players. And I think it's very unconventional a little bit in terms of how it worked out for us and our football team. But I will say this, in terms of the bowl system, in terms of the bowl games and the meaningful and the impact that they have on student athletes, I wish you could have heard the excitement and the joy, in particular, of the 16 seniors that we have that chose to come back and play in this game when given the opportunity to play one more football game together. They were ecstatic. They've been very excited. And again, we're very grateful to be here. We understand the impact that this game has on North Louisiana. The impact that this game has for our fan base. And again, our kids are really excited. We're grateful for the opportunity. And we understand we're going against a great opponent. Army has been one of the best teams in the country this year. Coach Monken has done a great job everywhere he's been. If you watch, I think in terms of coaching and football, when you watch teams play, that's all you need to do is watch teams play. You don't need to listen to the commentators. You don't need to listen to anything that's going on in terms of TV. Watch teams play and see how hard and how violent and how really cohesive that Coach Monken's team plays. And we've been able to see that for 12, 13 games that we've studied them this year. And so we know it's a great challenge for us Saturday night. But again, we're excited to be here. We're very grateful to really be able to play one more football game, in particular here at Independence Stadium in the Radiance Technology Bowl here in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Hey, Evan, Chris DeBergen with KSLA News 12 here in Shreveport. Hey, being a redshirt freshman, how much of a roller coaster ride has it been this season, going from 5-7 to not knowing if you're going to be in a bowl game to now playing in a bowl game?
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously it's a new experience and a new experience for really a couple of us on the team. So I mean, we've just been kind of playing it by ear, and obviously, yeah, at the end of the year, we didn't really think we were going to end up being in a bowl. And you know what? Just like Coach Cumbie said, once we got that call, I mean, gears shifted and our mindset changed, and yeah, we're just really excited to be here, and it's going to be a good time.
Coach Cumbie, this is Andrew Wellman, KSLA News 12. I was wondering, so your Bulldogs have one of the best defensive units in the country, and you guys are getting ready to take on a very tough Army offense who is headlined by that best offensive line in the country. What has kind of been going into that preparation process for that unit?
Well, it is really one of the best offenses that we'll play. It is the best offensive line that we'll play. It's the best offensive line in the country. And you always want to be able to control the line of scrimmage. And that's going to be a huge challenge against Army and their offensive line. Defensively, you know, some of the teams in our league, Jacksonville State was a team that ran the ball really effectively, albeit in a different way, schematically differently. And so that is a challenge. You know, been able to have a few more extra practice days, I think has helped our defense from that standpoint. I think it's a game where, in terms of discipline, in terms of eye discipline, and being really at your best, we're going to have to be there, not just at linebacker and safety. I think it's really important for us there. And then from a defensive line standpoint, those guys have had a, you know, we got, I think, from a depth standpoint, that's probably the one position that the portal has hurt us a little bit throughout the time at the end of the season until now. But, you know, we've had guys that have stepped up, and guys will have an opportunity to play. And our expectation is that they play well and they play extremely hard. But it's going to be a huge challenge.
Coach Roy Lang from The Advocate here in Shreveport. You touched on a little bit a couple days ago, but can you expand on knowing Bryson from his high school days and what you saw from him then? Was there recruiting going on then? Just more about that relationship.
Yeah, I wish that whenever I was at Texas Tech and TCU, we would have offered him so we didn't have to play against him today. He's a phenomenal player, and I visited with him. You know, it had a unique perspective because he was when I was at Texas Tech and he was being from Abernathy, just right down the road. Just being able to follow kids when they would come to your camps and you would see them, and especially you're always aware of local talent. And for Lubbock, local is Abernathy, and that's local for us. And so you're aware of those talented young men, and you watch him year in and year out. And he would come to the camps, and you would see him, and he would stand out for really all the right reasons. And then you would track him, and you would track him, and so just have always followed him in his career. And I think it's a situation where you watch and you see how people handle themselves, and man, you're just glad that the good guys have success. And he's a great ambassador for college athletics, obviously for Army, and for people back in West Texas, because he's well represented, and that's a place where people continue to follow, whether it's coaching, whether it's playing, they continue to follow their stars and they support them. And so, it's been fun to watch and see the success that he's earned, and rightfully so.
Coach Tim Owens with KTAL here in Shreveport. Just talking about there's something to be said about getting the extra practices and getting the extra time with the kids and all that stuff. But just what's the experience been like for you so far, and how important is it to be able to play in this bowl game and get all this extra time with the kids?
Yeah, I think to begin with, it's a little bit like one of those Marvel movies. Whenever it ends and you're sitting there and you're watching the credits and you're sitting there and everybody knows, hey, just wait, it's going to start again. That's kind of what our season's been like. All right, the credits started rolling, and then wait just a minute. Hey, let's get the boys back together. Let's get everybody back together. And again, it's been. From a practice standpoint, we probably lost timing wise, 3 to 4 of your developmental practices. But you've been able to have, 6, 7, 8 practices where you've been able to prepare for this game. I think, again, being around each other is so probably underrated when you think about a bowl and the activities going to the Holy Angels when we got here. Yesterday, whenever we had the opportunity to go as a team to Barksdale, just an incredible experience for our kids that are here and that are playing their last game with this experience. But then also, you've had a whole 2 weeks of basically team activities that your kids have been able to be around each other. And so I think from chemistry, I think from continuity within your locker room, it's been a huge experience for our team. And then obviously the developmental piece from a football standpoint, offensively, with these guys here, and then with Zach leading our defense here into the last game, against a really, really difficult opponent. Those have been some great values and, things that our football program will hopefully use to springboard us into the 2025 season as we go forward.
Hey, Zach, with this being the last ride, what have these last few days and hours been like, kind of leading up to game time emotionally?
Yeah, like before this first game or this last game, I guess, against Kennesaw State, it was always like, oh, going into the last week of practice, last meetings and last team workout and just so many different lasts. Just having this extra opportunity with the guys. Never been on a more close-knit team. So it's been a fantastic opportunity. Super grateful. But the main thing is to win. Like we're not here to just play an extra game and get these extra practices. Obviously, it's great, but the plan is to win and obviously play really well.
Coach, what have practices been like since Coach Franklin took over the OC duties so far?
There's a lot of learning. I think a lot of learning and teaching. He's been heavily involved with what we're doing on offense, as our other staff members who've been with us throughout the course of the season. And so, but I think from an execution standpoint, our guys have done a really nice job. They've flown around. And so I think from that standpoint, our kids have really responded well.
Hi, Ken Kreitzer, CamVets Media, White Plains, New York. Just a question for Zach. Just tell us a little bit about your season. You had 74 tackles, I read. What were the highlights, and what do you see in the Army offense playing a run-oriented option offense?
Yeah, I think overall in the season, like we said, it didn't really go the way we wanted. Super grateful for the opportunity. I think defense obviously made a very big improvement from the year before. Coach JJ and the staff have done a fantastic job, instilling a certain mindset in us and putting us in great positions to play and win. As far as Army's offense, obviously, they're one of the best in the nation, fantastic offensive line, great quarterback. Their pace of the play can definitely take over a game. They run the ball very effective. So I think it's just about us executing, playing together and just playing the way we know how to play.
Thank you. Just ask Evan a little bit about, you had a fine season, 1,900 yards, 14 touchdowns throwing. How did you grow this year? And what do you see in the Army defense that stands out?
Yeah. I'd say just throughout the year, it was just honestly about just gaining experience and getting more games under my belt. And as we went on, I just felt like I got more comfortable just playing and doing the stuff that the coaches were asking me to do. And as far as their defense, I mean, they're a good defense. They're very hardworking and they play really hard. And so I think that'll be something we got to take advantage of and maybe just try and figure out ways to defeat them, and we'll see what happens.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah, this is for the players. You know, what's it been like with this transfer stuff? We've heard from the coaches and not huge fans, obviously, but in the locker room, in the dorms, what's it like listening to guys, you know, really sort of try and manage their careers like professional athletes? And this JUCO thing even threw a bigger wrench into for a couple guys for you. Just as players, what's this whole process been like?
Oh yeah, I mean it's tough, you know, just trying to keep everybody together and all that stuff. But like Zach said, this is a very close knit team, and I feel like we have a lot of good chemistry. But I mean, that's just how college football is now. I mean, everyone's always kind of looking to see like, hey, is there another opportunity elsewhere? And I mean, that's just how it is now, and just kind of you just have to accept it. But I mean, still, we've still just been a really close knit team, and I think. I mean, it's just been good. I mean, it's hard to adjust sometimes, you know, with all the changes and certain things like that. But overall, I mean, it's just something you got to deal with.
Definitely wish I could have another year. But you know, 6 or 7, whatever number it is, I guess we're gonna call it at that. But yeah, you know, it's pretty crazy. I think it's just something you got to just adapt to. You know, I think the coaching industry and stuff is gonna continue to change with the rules and regulations. But you know, I think our just focus right now is just, you know, the Independence Bowl and, you know, the transfer portal and all that stuff. I'm sure it can wait. I'm sure the coaches don't mind having to, you know, transition the 2 weeks of playing for a bowl game instead of dealing with that. So yeah, it'll be pretty interesting to see how it is in the future.
If Zach were to play again, they'd have to set some sort of age limit for these guys. And I appreciate you coming and asking these questions. I'm going to bring you to our team meeting here in another week or so.
We do have older guys on the team than myself.
Preparing offensively and defensively, we have a short amount of time for a bowl game.
Well, I think fortunately for us in the timing of it, we were able to get, you know, at least you get a full game week in terms of your Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday, and what that looks like from a structure standpoint and how you meet and how you practice. And then you're able to add a few extra ones just in terms of when the timing of all this happened. And I think you tried to have a plan from a physical standpoint. How do we get our kids physically, which a lot of them were still in town. And so they had 2 weeks of discretionary workouts where they came in on their own and did some running. And so you try to build them up from a physical standpoint where they're, you know, you're going to have their legs back under them. And then from a mental standpoint, then you go to attack it from the standpoint of your game plan. So it's been a little bit longer in terms of the game planning, in terms of a game week. I guess you've had a few extra opportunities, which is definitely necessary when you're playing an offense that attacks you like Army's does. And so, and defensively, they're a really good defense. And so we've been able to make use of the time. And then so I think from that standpoint, it hasn't been as unusual as the rest of the circumstances. We probably lost again, probably 3 to 4 of those practices, but a lot of times those are developmental practices.
Thank you, guys. Go ahead, Andrew.
Zach, with you had talked about how you had thought that you had played your last collegiate game. What have the emotions you've been kind of going through, knowing that you get one more, you got a chance to end things off positively and leave with a big win?
Yeah, you know, like everyone was saying earlier, or I think someone had asked a question, it's a roller coaster. You know, having 3 overtime games, you know, lost on a Hail Mary. You know, we finished the season on a shutout. You know, 2 weeks go by, you know, I'm about to move out of my apartment on that following Tuesday. Next thing you know, it's Saturday, mid-morning, you know, get the call from Coach Comey, go up to his office and find out we get a whole nother game. Life's crazy, but, you know, life is awesome. Very fortunate to be here. Just excited to play on Saturday.
Thank you, guys. Coach, if you'll stay up there. All right, now up, the Army West Point Black Knights. Second appearance in the Radiance Technology Independence Bowl, first since 1996. The 7th-ranked team to ever appear in the Independence Bowl, and the first conference champion since 1980 to play in the Independence Bowl. With Army, we have head coach Jeff Monken, quarterback Bryson Daly, and safety Max DiDomenico. Coach, we'll start with a statement and then
Thank you.
open up for questions.
Well, we are thrilled to be here. Thanks to the city of Shreveport, Radiance Technologies, and the Independence Bowl staff. We've been treated like kings here this week. It's been fantastic. And we just appreciate the opportunity to represent West Point, the Corps of Cadets, the long gray line of graduates, and our over 1 million men and women that serve in the United States Army. And it's just a privilege to be here and play a great team like Louisiana Tech. We know they're playing right here at home. I'm sure they're going to have a great crowd, and I know they'll be motivated to play just as our team is. You know, that team and the 2 players that were up here with Coach Comby have had a really great season, and as it was mentioned, you know, 3 overtime games and 5 games by 1 score or less. They got a terrific football team. It's going to be a tremendous challenge for us. And so very athletic football team, big football team, fast football team we're going to face. And so we've been preparing as well as we can over the last couple of weeks with limited practices. Like Coach Comby said, there's a limited amount of time. And our guys were able to get a couple of practices in during our final exam week. And then we sent the guys home for a few days to be with their families just before Christmas. We reconvened here on Christmas Eve, and we were able to get a practice in on Christmas Day, and we'll get another one in this afternoon. So hopefully that's going to have us prepared to play our very best, and we know that we're going to need to. This is a great bowl game, a historic bowl game. I grew up a coach's kid, so I'm a football junkie, and I love watching college football and always have, and watch this game every year. And it's a game that just the incredible teams that have played in this game, and the to join that line of teams and the history that West Point has. West Point came here in 1996 with Bob Sutton's team and played Auburn in a real shootout. It was a great football game, and hopefully we'll live up to that and make this one a great football game. I hope we've got a good enough football team to be able to be competitive and play with Louisiana Tech. And I know our guys are excited, and an opportunity to play one more time together. We've got a great brotherhood, and our guys too are very close and really enjoy playing this game together. And it's been great to be here. It's been great for these guys to be able to spend some time together. And this is the last time for this team to be together like we are as a team. And so that at West Point, it's certainly very special to us. So thank you so much for the hospitality. We're thrilled to be here and excited for Saturday night.
This is for you, Coach Monken, and the players as well. Going into that Army-Navy game, you guys were still expecting to play Marshall in the Independence Bowl. What's kind of been the experience pivoting to prepare for Louisiana Tech since finding out what was going on?
Really, there wasn't much of a pivot for us. All of our preparation was for that game on December 14th. So we obviously had found out 1 week prior or 6 days prior that we were scheduled to play Marshall, but we frankly didn't spend any time on Marshall that week. It was entirely dedicated to trying to win the Army-Navy game. So it wasn't until the day of the Army-Navy game that we found out that there was going to be a change in the opponent. And that it just really didn't affect us at all, other than on Sunday following the game, we went right back to work on getting prepared for this game and looking at Louisiana Tech.
And Coach, good to see you. Ken
Ken.
Kreitzer, CamVets Media, White Plains, New York. Just 2 things, just your preparation down here. And last Friday, you had a couple of players graduate and commission. And maybe you could mention what that means to you.
So the preparation here really has been pretty brief. Coming out of the Army-Navy game, we were able to practice on Tuesday We did a walkthrough on Wednesday and another practice on Thursday of last week. Really coming out of that game, our guys needed to prepare for final exams, which they had that week immediately following the game. And we were able to, I should say the players were able to navigate taking their final exams or T's, term end exams as we call them, and then get some practices in. And at the end of the week, we had two of our firsties or senior players that graduated and commissioned as second lieutenants in the United States Army, Connor Finucane and Hamilton Baker. That's just a tremendous sense of pride for us to see those guys graduate and be commissioned. It's what they trained to do. It's what our guys ultimately are at West Point to do, and that's to grow as leaders of character and to commission as second lieutenants in the Army. And so it'll be great to see those guys in their uniforms, and I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of the guys have to salute their teammates for the first time. So.
This is Max DiDomenico. It's been, followed you for a long time. It's been a long road. You've had a lot of accomplishments with this team in your football career. Maybe you could just mention some of your key highlights and then also what you expect in your career as an officer in the Army.
Yeah, I love my time at West Point. I've met some great people. Some of my best friends are at West Point. So, I'm just looking forward to this game one last time with the senior class, one last time with everyone on the 2024 team. And, I'm looking forward to the Army. West Point, we call it the 47-month experience. Your number one goal when you get to Beast is to graduate and commission in the Army. So I'm looking forward to it. I branch field artillery, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to, getting the Army and really leading the soldiers.
And a question for Bryson. Same thought. I think back to that day at UMass when you got in the game. You went on about a 70-yard touchdown run, and it's been a great career ever since. Maybe you could highlight that. Obviously, you're in the Heisman voting this year, and just maybe a couple of highlights, and then your thoughts on serving in infantry in the Army.
Yeah, a lot like Max said. All my best friends are here. I've grown extremely close to this senior class. Just a great group of guys, and got to meet a lot of wonderful people. But football highlights. Obviously, this whole year has been awesome. As a senior class, we gave ourselves the opportunity to play 2 extra games, which is extremely special to us as seniors, getting to play our last season of football. So, winning the conference championship was awesome. Winning the CIC last year. Those are all just big highlights that you look forward to. And, Army provides that just because it's a place to play big time football. So that's been extremely special to us. And like Max said, I'm extremely excited for the next chapter, being an officer in the United States Army.
Thank you.
Since arriving in Shreveport, you guys have had the opportunity to get out in the community. On Christmas Day, you stopped by Holy Angels for a visit, and yesterday you guys stopped by the Northwestern Louisiana Veterans Home. Can you talk a little bit about what that experience has been like getting out in the community here?
Yeah, it was super special to go to Holy Angels and just be able to spend some time on Christmas Day with the people who are there. We didn't get to see our families, just like many of them didn't get to see their families. So it was cool to just kind of go out there as a team. I think 85 of us went. So it's super awesome to get the guys out there, put smiles on our faces, put smiles on their faces. And then we visited the VA home as an offense yesterday, and the defense went to the VA hospital. So just to see, heroes in our country, people who have served and kind of paved the way for us was super special. Put a smile on their face, put a smile on our face again. So it's been awesome. Team bonding, but really just see those people smile and make us smile has been super awesome.
Yeah, the veterans home yesterday, we went as an offense, like Max said. It was extremely rewarding. Just getting to talk to those people and all they've been through, and just the pride they have in the Army, in this country, and they just kept saying how extremely proud of us they are. Which hearing that from them, these heroes, was extremely special and very rewarding. So I'm glad we got to do that as a team.
7 World War II veterans yesterday at the VA home, and 7 World War II veterans at the VA hospital, which is incredible. To another 14 World War II veterans right here in Shreveport, and I'm told 600 across the state. So those are people we need to celebrate as Americans, and certainly in our communities. So it was awesome. Our guys did a great job, and um, it's just an opportunity again for these guys to serve. It's what each of our players and each of our students has committed to is a life of service. Uh, so anytime we have an opportunity to do that, our guys are genuinely and sincerely excited about it, and we were really excited to be there. It was as much of a reward for us as it was for anybody we had a chance to visit.
Hey, Coach Monk and Chris Demersion with KSLA News 12 here in Shreveport. Hey, from your experience in coaching, how tough is it entering a postseason bowl game, having lost the prior contest?
Oh, that's that's just part of the game, and unfortunately, this isn't the first time we've gone into a bowl game having lost that game. Um, our seniors experienced that in 2021. We lost the Army Navy game, unfortunately, and we were able to play in a postseason game and finish the season with a win over Missouri in the Armed Forces Bowl. So, um, you know, certainly we're going to strive to win and try to play our best football on Saturday night. We'd love for our guys to be able to finish this season with a victory, but it's a tall task to have to beat Louisiana Tech.
Hey guys, Roy Lang from The Advocate here in Shreveport. Bryson, we talked a little bit about it the other day, your Heisman experience. I know it's not an individual game. Heck, everything you guys have been saying, it's not about individual now or in the future for you guys. But is there something that stands out, a funny text, or heck, I heard early in the process there was talk of getting a plane or a helicopter in case you had to go to New York, but something about the Heisman process that you'll never forget that stands out for you, Bryson?
Just people reaching out was probably the biggest thing. Got to talk to people like Matt Leinart, interviews like that. So that was extremely, extremely cool, and it was an honor just to be even mentioned with the great players that are up for the Heisman. It's just a testament to, this team, this coaching staff, and all the people around me. But yeah, it was a very cool experience getting to have some of that media.
Coach Munkin, Bryson, as you guys get ready to take on Louisiana Tech, they have one of the better defensive units in the country. Is there anything you guys have been going over film or just trying to hammer down as you guys prepare to take on that Bulldogs defense?
Yeah, we've been preparing as much as we can. Watching film on them. But they're, like you said, a very good defense. Very physical, very tough. They've one of the top scoring defenses in the country. You know, yards per game, all that stuff. They've been really good this year, and they've kept them in ball games. That defense has. So it's going to be a challenge for us. But we're really excited for the opportunity to play against this defense.
I'll echo that. They're very unique, and they are salty. I mean, physical, play hard, tough, well coached, and a unique scheme. So as much as they talk about us having a unique offensive scheme, they are very unique defensively, and pose some particular and unique challenges for us. So a lot of times we go into football games as an offense, we have no idea what we're going to see from the opposing defense because we are different and unique, and align differently and have different schemes. We often will see a defense that the opposing team hasn't played the entire year. So we don't know. I tried to ask Coach Cumbie what they're going to line up in, but he wouldn't share. Uh, but it's a little bit unique that way for us on defense as well. They've got a brand new offensive coordinator, and so the offensive system that they've run this entire season, we don't know if it's going to be those plays or if it's going to be new plays under Coach Franklin. And so there's a lot of unknowns going into this game. So it makes it a real challenge for us to prepare in every phase.
This is for any or all of you guys. I don't have to tell you, you've been playing. Army's been playing since 1890. Never had 12 victories in a season. What would that mean to be part of the group that does that for the first time?
You guys want to take that?
Yeah, it's kind of our goal and our focus this week. Coach Munkin has hit on it. Coming off the Navy loss, that's the biggest game of the year. It's tough for us. It's tough to recover from that, but we have a lot of things to look forward to. We're playing in the postseason, playing in a great bowl game, with a chance to go and win 12 games. So it'd be super special for our senior class. for our team, give them some momentum going into next year, and really help those guys excel. So it would be awesome to do that.
Yes, sir. Anytime you have a chance to make history, especially at a program like Army and West Point that has been playing for so long, has had so many great teams, great players, great coaches. Just being able to make history in a program like that, it's something we're really working towards this senior class, and just writing our name in the history books. So any extra motivation you can find before games always helps, and that's definitely a motivating factor.
Players. Touching on your upcoming Army career and the veterans, having veterans here, they would appreciate this. Have you thought ahead about during duty station after you get out of your school, infantry and artillery respectively?
I think for me, my number one is Italy. I think that would be just incredible, just an awesome opportunity. So anywhere in Europe, and then I think Colorado would be awesome as well.
Yeah, Europe would be awesome, but I'm a homebody. From Texas, so I'm hoping to go down Texas, Fort Cavazos now, formerly known as Fort Hood. But yeah, I think Texas would be really awesome. Anywhere in the South, get away from the cold for a little bit. Been up there a bit too long, so. But yeah, it'll be special either way.
Thank you, guys.